Good morning, church family. Good morning. Glad to have you all here. Not my phone? Glad to have you there, man. Woo. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Glad to have you all here this morning. I want to say hello to our visitors. Appreciate you all being here. And we are glad that you're with us. I want to encourage you to stay after it so we can shake your hand and get to know you a little better. We always like it when visitors come and see us, and we like when people come who haven't been here in a while and say hello again, and it's good to see everybody here. I want to say two things about some things that are coming up. Josh Lopez, who we help support at Sunset, preaches out in Arizona, is going to be here with some help November 12th through the 14th. That's going to be we're going to have a meeting here. I think the plan is we're discuss trying to figure out how we want to set it up. But the idea so far is to have a meeting. It has some lessons in here as well as lessons in our fellowship hall, so we can kind of get a wide variety of topics being taught. So please mark your calendars for November 12th through the 14th, and tell all your friends about it and bring them out and let them be a part of it. We are excited to have this, and I know that it will be a good thing. Also, she's not here. They must have had to go. Maybe she would help at Children's Church. I don't know. But anyway, those of you who didn't know, Reagan Curry and her little friends did the junior high district cross country track meet. And not only did the Lady Lions come in first place as a team, but Reagan came in first place out of all of them. And so when you see Reagan, give her a pat on the back and hug and tell her how proud you are of her. And I know that she will be happy to know that we are so proud of our kids and they're doing good. We're proud of our kids all the time. We're glad to see the whole Montgomery clan here with us today. We can see that Ashlyn is here and Jax and Bo running around. So we're glad to have them all here, and we're glad that baby's doing good. And we ask God's blessings upon them. I really don't know how to start this, but in Genesis, today we're going to look at another way of what it means to refresh our Christianity. Being a Christian, being a member of the church, some people you might hear say being a 21st century Christian there's a lot more to it than just coming to church on Sunday and telling your friends, a few friends, or inviting them to be here, something like that. And yes, I'll even say this, being a Christian is a lot more than just trying to spread the gospel. Spreading the gospel is important. Telling people about Jesus is important. There's more to being a Christian than just Acts 2:38, Matthew 20. We've been going through this entire year of understanding and looking at a way of, we call it refresh our Christianity. And one of the things that I want to talk about this morning is, what does it mean to be our brother's keeper? What does that mean as it applies to our Christianity? Now, Colton did a good job reading Scripture this morning, and he did have a little more of an extended reading, but it was very important for us to understand how that story took place. That's a Bible class story that many of our Bible class teachers teach once or twice a year. But I don't think it has more of a meaning than just understanding that, yes, one brother got jealous and one brother did right and he did this, and next thing you know, Cain killed Abel. I always had to remember Cain killed Abel because Abel wasn't Abel. And that's how you get it mixed up. Did Cain kill Abel or Abel kill Cain? And so that was part of that understanding as well. But Cain asks God a very bold question. Now, let's look at it. Genesis 4:9. The Lord said to Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" Now, the Lord already knows what happened. God's not trying to catch Cain in a lie. But He knows what is going on. And Cain says something very specific. He says, "I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?" Now, my first thought was, when I was reading about that and thinking about this and preparing for this lesson, is that obviously Adam and Eve did not do a good job of teaching their brothers about unity and what it means to be a family. Now, that's kind of a harsh statement, but I'm sure I'm not the only person who may have thought that when it first came up. You don't just go off, as many of us had brothers or sisters, and we would love to. You just don't haul off and go off and kill your brother simply because his sacrifice was better than yours. You just don't do that. Well, obviously that didn't work out in this situation. And we could go on and on and on and talk about why the sacrifice is better and everything else. That's not the important. The important thing I want to talk about today is I want to answer this question because God doesn't answer it. God doesn't say, in fact, in many ways, God says, that's not the point, Abel. Cain, the point is, Cain, you killed your brother, now his blood's crying out, and because you killed your brother, you are going to there's going to be some punishment involved. There was something not connecting between those two boys that made them understand that I am not, that doing harm to my brother is not in the rules. That's not even shouldn't even be discussed. This is the only time this phrase is used in the Bible. I did a lot of searching. I tried to find it. If I missed it, I'm sure there'll be someone here who'll say, "I found it, Blan, this is where it is." That's great. I'm going to talk to you later. But as far as I can tell, the only time this phrase, "Am I my brother's keeper," is used is in this verse. And so basically, a lot of times we tend to take that and go, "Well, this is a lesson on what you're not supposed to do." But I want to get a little more in depth today. I want us to understand, what does it mean to be our brother's keeper? I was talking about this weekend as we were out there in hunting dove, and we were taking a break and eating lunch, and one of the guys who was there, as I was talking, I said, "Well, Blan, really, it means a whole lot more than just being looking out for one another." In many ways, because I have decided to follow Christ, because I have decided to follow Jesus, and I have given my life over to Christ, and I have allowed Jesus to become Lord and Master of my life, I have made a covenant not only with God, but I've made a covenant with other people who are thinking and believing the same way I am. And that covenant is this: is that no matter what time of day it is, no matter what you need, I intend to be there for you because I am going to want you to be there for me. Why do I have a picture of elephants up here? Well, if you look down here at the end, you see all these little baby elephants, and they're laying down, they're taking a little siesta. All the mamas and the daddies have gathered around and formed a circle. The first thing I want you to understand is that the word keeper, in brother's keeper, literally means protector or guardian. If you watch any of the nature shows, you ever watch them wild, these lions and these jackals trying to come up and snag one of the little baby elephants to eat. And one of the first things that happen is that the mothers get all irate, and their ears start flapping, and their horns start blowing, and the next thing you know, all them little baby elephants, they come running back to mama, and every one of them bull elephants and mama elephants, they literally form a circle. And all the little elephants, baby elephants, get in the middle. And then every one of them elephants basically turn their heads out. They put the babies in the middle, and they basically form a fortress around their young. And so basically, if a lion or a jackal or anything wants to grab one of them, they got to go through trunks and horns and a lot of mad elephant. That's what it means to be a protector. That's what it means to be a guardian. In a world of where society has taught us, and because technology has helped us to become a single-minded society, where I can be out in the world, only all I have to do is click on my computer. In a world where it doesn't matter what anybody happens to anyone else, I have to look out for numero uno. This can be easily forgotten and neglected. There are so many passages of Scripture that talk about this subject. When Paul stood in Antioch and preached that sermon, and they got all mad, and they drug him out in court, and they drug him out of the city, and they stoned him to the point that he almost died. Or he may have died, and may have God brought him back to life. I can't remember I can't really decipher how that works out. But the point in that story is, I'm really thankful that Paul had a bunch of friends to gather around him and encourage him and motivate Paul to continue to do what he was doing. Let's face it, if your fearless leader walks into a town and says something, and the next thing you know, they drag him out and try to kill him, some of the people might be going, well, that didn't work too good. I'm going to get out before they start throwing rocks at me. But that's not what happened. Paul got pulled out of them rocks, out of that rubble. They circled around, they prayed for him. And not only did Paul get back up, but Paul walked right back into town. Yes, it was through the power of God's help, but it was also because he had some brothers looking out for him, who believed in Paul's message. Many of us, there are many people out there in the world today who would get out the minute the first rock was thrown. I don't think you'll find that here amongst this family. Other scriptures that talk about this. Romans 14:7 says, "For none of us lived in himself alone, and none of us dies to himself alone." One chapter over in verse 1, Romans 15:1, it talks about us really strong about how we are to bear the infirmities of the weak. James 5:16 instructs us to confess our faults to one another, to pray for one another, so that we can be actually healed. Philippians chapter 2, verse 4 says, "Each one of you should look out not only for your own interest, but also to the interest of others." And I know I am preaching something that y'all have heard countless of times, but I want you to pay attention. In order to get to this place where we can genuinely do this with people that God has placed in our lives, we are going to have to build better relationships. Well, Blan, we have a great relationships. Yes, I know, but this is one of those areas where we can always continually try to improve. Now, I'm not saying we have to be everybody's best friend. Now, I'm not saying that everybody has to know everything about everybody. But let's think about this for a minute. One of the things that we can easily do right now, even in our great situation that we're in, is that we can stop being afraid of opening ourselves up, and we can stop running from people who are trying to have a relationship with us. After the great fellowship we had this weekend, I told Scott right now, I said, I do not want to go on another men's trip without Lonnie Dewberry. Lonnie Dewberry had us laughing so hard we were crying with some of the stories and some of the jokes he told. Now, I love Lonnie to death. But I love him more because of the fact he's not afraid to talk about himself. He's not afraid to talk about the humor that has happened in his life. And the more and more I spend time, I'm not trying to pick on Lonnie here, don't misunderstand me. But Lonnie's not afraid. Lonnie's not afraid to bare his soul, show his scars. He says, "You see that? I probably should have done that. But I got it, and God saved me." And many other things that happened along his line. Now, there's still other things I want us to consider, other than the fact that we have to be willing to make some investment in relationships. We have to have those relationships. We have to have people that we can consider good people to be a part of those relationships. Sometimes being a brother's keeper also means, though, church, we've got to get real and be real understanding about some things. first got my pickup truck, that black GMC sitting out there, the first big trip I took was to Lubbock to go to a conference at Sunset International Bible Institute. I was so looking forward to this trip. I had the bags packed. We went to the first day of conference. It was a night thing. After the conference was over, we all went out to eat. Me and about 5 other preacher friends. We pull into this Mexican restaurant. I pull up right at the front of the building, and I park my truck under a big, bright security light. We all go in and sit down to eat. We're having a great time. I get up. Everybody else is checking out. I had to go to the boys' room. And while I'm in the boys' room, the waiter comes up to the group and says, "Any of y'all drive a black GMC pickup truck?" They all said, "No, none of us do." "What about Chrane?" "Oh, Chrane still has that. Chrane drives a white Ford pickup truck." They didn't know I got a new vehicle. Sure enough, someone busted the window of my truck. The only thing of value that I had in that truck was my little satchel that had my tablet and my Bible in it. And the people who stole out of my truck graciously left the Bible laying on the road, but ran off with my tablet, which was, that wasn't that big of a deal. So here I am in Lubbock, 10, 11 o'clock at night, waiting for the cops to show up. And all my buddies said, "Well, we're going to go on." I said, "Yeah, y'all go on. Cops, it may take a little bit for the cops to get here, but they'll be here." About an hour goes by, and a friend calls me up, and he says, "Hey, I'm coming back out there." Jared was his name. Jared said, "I'm coming back out there." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because I don't want you to be out there by yourself." Look. And so Jared comes back out, and we sit in his car, and we wait for the cops to show up. Jared could not fix my window. Jared could not go out and catch the bad guys who stole my tablet and vandalized my truck. But Jared could sit with me and wait by a truck with busted lights. Church, we can't help everybody. As much as we want to save the world, we can't. And sooner or later, sometimes when people come in, especially in people in our congregation who need help and want help, we want to help them. We would love to take all their pain away. But sometimes, let's face it, the only thing we can do is sit with them and wait until more help comes. And you know what? That's okay. That's godly. That's scriptural. That's being a Christian. The other thing I want us to understand is this, is that we can do a better job to improve this relationship. We can do a better job of receiving blessings as much as we can dishing them out. Every one of us here would bend over backwards to help the person next door. If their truck was stuck, if they're in a bind, if they needed someone to watch the kids while they took one to the hospital, if someone has died, passed away, we cook them a whole bunch of food. Someone get out of surgery, just had a baby, we fill their house so full of food, they can hardly see straight. Amen. But the minute we need something, there are some of us here who won't tell a soul what's happening in our lives. And me, the preacher, has to find out from someone else that you're in a hospital, or that you're having surgery, or that you've been down and out for the past couple of days because of whatever. When you refuse to let your family know what's going on in your life, you are refusing to receive blessings from God. Did you ever realize that? Galatians says we ought to bear one another's burdens. That means I can carry this load because I got big shoulders. But I also need to be willing to carry someone else's load. I also need to be willing to let someone carry my load. That's how we improve our relationships here in this church. God has brought a supernatural, amazing connection to our lives, and we have to be willing to allow Him to take us deeper in so that we can get the benefits that He intended us to have. That doesn't mean that everybody you're going to meet is going to become your closest friends in the world, but it's possible that through this amazing relationship, you will have a lot more people you know because God brought into you. In Genesis chapter 2, starting in verse 18, God said, "It was not good for man to be alone. I'm going to make him a suitable helper for him." What this means is that, yeah, it's more the creation of woman, and that's all great, and it's wonderful. We need it. Don't get me wrong. We need women in our lives. But the one thing I want you to understand is that God wired us so that we are not supposed to be alone. We are genetically altered to want human interaction, to want human touch, appreciation, and affirmation. Now, some of us like to live like hermits. That's okay. You still have that need and desire. We're not supposed to go through this alone. If we were, then God would have said, "Hey, Adam, you're good. You don't need any help." But no. God put Adam to sleep, created a woman through him, and when he woke up, the first thing he did, he rubbed his eyes, looked at her, and said, "Whoa, man!" At least that's how I think about it. Because it wasn't, and when God made a suitable helper for Adam, and after everything was all said and done, God said it wasn't good. He said it was very good. There's a reason why men don't need to be alone. There's a reason why all of us have that natural need for this. Finally, I want you to notice something right quick. The Bible makes it clear that we are always better off when we're with somebody else. We're going to be better when we are more connected with other people because we will always have a support system. We never know when we might need it, but we'll always have it. Because of that support system, I would submit to you that besides the fact that the devil really doesn't want you to become a Christian, that Satan would much rather you not obey the gospel. His second biggest concern is that after you obey the gospel, his next biggest concern is that you get tied in and that you get connected with another bunch of body believers because it's going to make it harder for him to get his claws into you. If you become a Christian, that's great. Satan's going to go, "Well, all right, I lost that one. But if I can keep him or her by themselves, if I can make him think that they're the only one that they need, and I keep them self-sufficient and independent and headstrong and stubborn, if they can believe the lie that I've said that it's okay to love Jesus, but it's not okay, but you don't have to love his church. If I can even believe that lie, I can get them." Let me tell you something. Did you ever think about the fact that if you heard someone say, "I love Jesus, but I don't love his church," what they're really saying is, "I love Jesus, but I don't like his wife"? Any man in this building who heard that, if someone said, "Man, I really like you, but your wife is a mess," I'd be putting my Bible down right quick. The devil does not want you to have a family connection with other members in this church because that's a better way for him to get his claws into you. He wants you to stay unplugged and unconnected. He will pull out every trick in the book to keep you from developing that kind of relationship that God wants you to have with your brother's keepers. He knows what we can do. The devil is afraid of what we can do when we get together and work on something. He wants us to be offended. He wants us to be mad. He wants us to wear our feelings on our shoulders. He wants us to listen to see if someone's going to mess up when they're preaching or leading a song. He wants us to find all kinds of problems. Because the more things we find, the less we are going to participate. And the biggest thing we can do is to not allow that to happen. If we choose to live a life by ourselves, ended up, that life will be much harder than it was supposed to be. And so it's time. It's time for us to start being there for one another. It's time to fully appreciate what it means to be a brother's keeper. Pretty simply, it means this. I have your back, you have mine. You need help, you call me. I need help, you know I'm going to call you. I look out for you, you look out for me. And if anyone asks a question, we can answer that question specifically. Yes, we strive to take care of our own here. We desperately want to take care of our own. We want to do so much for the people who have all kinds of problems. We want to rejoice when a child is born. We want to mourn with that family who lost that loved one. When someone moves into the area, we want to be there to help them unload the truck. And if someone just figures out, well, they just can't make a living here and they got to move off, then regrettably, we will help them pack. That's what it means to be a brother's keeper. And that's what we have here. But it's something that we always need to keep in the forefront of our mind, because we have to resist the understanding that we can go off and do it by ourselves. Anything done singularly is not going to be done as well as done with a community, a congregation of Christ. This morning, if you want to be a part of our family, we offer an invitation for those who want to take Christ on in baptism. You take your confession, we'll baptize you, and you'll walk out those doors a brand new Christian with a brand new family walking beside you, arm in arm, helping you all the way. If you need the prayers of the church, if you want to talk to our leadership, however we can help in any way, please come forward as we stand and as we sing.
Have you been to